Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Today's tax savings can be tomorrow's tax burden. Please be sure to go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. And let me teach you what Mike learned just this week. And this really put it in perspective. Mike's in his late 50s, and he saved a little over $600,000 towards his retirement. But he's done it by following the crowd like everybody else, right? Putting in this traditional 401ks and IRAs. And what we find is 95% of you watching this have predominantly and predictably saved 95% of your money in accounts that the tax bill hasn't come yet. And when it comes, here's the thing that Mike learned. He was able to learn his total retirement tax bill burden. He had no idea. In fact, we asked him to guess. His guess was way off. Now, I'll ask you, what multiplying factor would you assume that for Mike, and we were able to analyze with our team of CPAs and CFPs, the tax risk road he's on, the risk and return that he's been making and taking, and he's been averaging about 9% net. What would you assume with a balance of about a little over $600,000 that at his tax rate, which his tax rate combined is a little over 30%, that his taxes will be over his lifetime? Folks, over 5 times. It's projected he will pay over 3.5 million in taxes just to get his money out. That's not the money, that's just the tax on the money, compared to the roughly $24,000 that he saved today. Now that's preposterous. Nobody would sit there and say, well, I'm going to sign up for this thing to where I can go pay way more tax to get my money out than the tax I thought I was saving by putting in. But I don't care whether you're in your late 50s or your late 70s. This is the way it works, folks. It may not be a 5 times tax burden, but it's at least going to be a 1-to-1 to a 2-to-1 or somewhere in between, depending on your age and your rate of return. And that's what I'll teach you this Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. Don't let your today's assumed tax savings be your tomorrow larger tax burden and then leave a bigger burden even to your kids or your heirs. Now, here's the thing that was exciting about this week, and I'll leave you with this, because it's a double-edged sword if the predominant amount of your retirement savings is trapped in these IRAs and traditional 401ks. And I'm not talking about Roth 401. I'm talking about traditional 401 and traditional IRA, so not Roth IRA either. The idea is to get it to a Roth status, but not get hammered in taxes in order to make that maneuver. I'll teach you this Tuesday multiple strategies of not only how to get money moved from taxable to tax-free, but to use deductions and credits that allow you to offset that. So whether you're doing that to do Roth conversion, or whether you're doing that just to lower your higher taxable income, or maybe you had a sale of a business or real estate or something that really puts you into a higher tax liability, let me teach you strategies that will save you tax. But for those that really want to protect your retirement and preserve and grow it, get out of the tax system. I'm going to teach you this Tuesday at my Removing Your Wealth from Washington webinar. It's a complimentary webinar. Just log on and learn, but it fills up quickly based on the amount of available space. So be sure to pick the time that fits best for you. But here was the feedback from this week with President Trump ringing in the bell on the New York Stock Exchange this week. And the title from Fox Business News was, Trump vows tremendous incentive on taxes. And that really sparks the economy, right? We want to make sure that we have less tax. Well, that with Trump getting reelected, that's really pushed a lot of us listening and reviewing this balance is way high. And that means if it's also pushing your future tax high and higher. Well, here's the thing to think about. And this is what he said, and I thought this was fascinating. He said, we're going to have an economy the likes of which nobody has ever seen before. And if that holds true, and we have the predominant amount of our retirement savings in these tax-trapped accounts, we're going to then push higher tax liability the longer we wait to address the situation. But if the market doesn't stay in kind of on this upward trend, and it starts to come down, because we've seen some up days and some bigger down days, then I want to teach you not only how to protect yourself from taxes, but this Tuesday I'll teach you how to protect yourself from market downturns, where you have more upside or no downside, with more upside or your targeted risk of downside. And this is how the ultra wealthy do it. I'll teach you a couple strategies that not only have helped the ultra wealthy build wealth, grow it, preserve it, and pass it, but I'm going to teach you how they basically just remove themselves from the tax system. Folks, you work hard for your money. imagine avoiding becoming Mike. Mike is so glad that he took the time to learn, just like you, by attending one of our educational webinars. But the thing he did is he took the time to learn the retirement tax risk road he's on and compared it to the retirement tax risk road he could be on. And by learning just a few strategies, he will be completely removed from the tax system next year. And why is that timing important? Because the Congressional Budget Office just came out and shared that about 62% of all taxpayers will see their taxes go up if this tax sale ends at the end of next year. That's the Tax Cut and Jobs Act that's set to sunset. Folks, imagine taking advantage of the most historical low of likely tax rates that we may see for many of us watching this for the rest of our living years. And at the same time, before we see this Trump market bump continue with an economy that he says will be the likes that no one's ever seen before, don't let that turn your tax savings assumed today into your bigger tax burden liability tomorrow. Address it today. retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com.